Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Dawn Approach podcast with me, Rich, and the lovely Dawn. We are live from Epsom Downs. As you can see, we're going to do 6 picks each for the Cheltenham Festival, but with the Derby twist.
I'm just trying to put a new spin on the Cheltenham Festival influence. I don't think anybody will be surprised with the sire or the grandsire that I will introduce as who is probably going to be the leading sire or grandsire who has a huge Derby influence. So it's a Cheltenham 6 pick with a difference, isn't it, Rich?
Exactly.
A bit of flat influence because unfortunately, you know, once the jumps are finished, some people don't look at the flat. They mightn't be enticed to look at the flat, but hopefully with the little bit of a few fun family facts, they might be a little bit more enticed to see the next Derby winner then influence a Cheltenham Festival winner in 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years even.
Exactly, and we're already looking forward to the flat. Cheltenham's just a little bit of a side note before we get there. So,
a side note for you.
Well, side note for everyone, really. Yeah, so let's get this started.
So it's not a leading sire, but it's a leading grandsire, and it is the mighty Montjeu. Now, I even was inspired when I seen how many Montjeu, how many lovely ladies he had, and then created the likes of Authorised, Pour Moi, one of your favourites. Yep. He's got the Fame and Glory, he's got Teahupoo's dad, Mass Marvel. Read a very interesting thing during the week that because he's walking the parks, Daddy, and everybody wants a walk in the park, Coolmore are going to take Walk in the Park back. Now he's 22 years young now, but his influence on the national hunt is so strong. And then you go to like the likes of Presenting, who was third to Lantara here on these very grounds, Galileo of course, but I mean everybody puts a big question mark over Galileo's now. I don't still. I still believe in mystical power. I don't believe in him for the festival, but I do still believe in mystical power. There's something else in him. But bear in mind, if you are going by the Montjeu lines, he is inspiring so many of the sires and broodmare sires at this year's Cheltenham Festival. Montjeu, you do. Follow his bloodlines because they are hot. Walk in the park. Every second horse is nearly a walk in the park. There's method in Montjeu.
Well, we weren't expecting the sun to be out. I forgot my sunglasses. Dawn's always prepared. We will start with our 6 horses, and you're going to go first.
I am going to go first, and no one is going to be surprised. I mean, I have your ear chewed off you. Mr. Daniel Fogg will be on with me with this, I think. Only by Night, and the inspiration there, because we are going off the Derby as well, she's by Affancy. Affancy is by the incredible See the Stars. This mare is mighty. I took a sigh of relief when I seen on the socials yesterday that Gavin is more aiming towards the Mare's Chase. I think that's the right race for her, even though she has met and bet the boys this year. And she's been very good, like chasing. She has taken like a duck to water chasing. I think the mare's is the right decision for her. She's 5-2. She's 10-1 for the Arkle. I forget about the Arkle now. So, the granddaughter of See the Stars by Affancy, Only by Night, should be just right for the Mare's Chase.
Okay, brilliant. My first pick is going to be one that I'll probably end up saying won't win on the day once I've done my trends. And that's Majborough, who we saw on Chase debut at Fairy House back in December. I thought he got better as the round of jumping went on that day. I also think that he didn't lose any ground, according to Race IQ, over his fences. I know there was gasps at Leopardstown every time he jumped.
Trackside gasps.
But he didn't lose any momentum at all, and he actually put up a pretty good Race IQ jump score that day. I know the trends are going to say a 5-year-old hasn't won the Arkle in a very long time. I don't think that many go for it, and that's probably why. Obviously, I'd have loved Sergino to have been in here. It would have made for a really good race for both of them, but I just can't see beyond him now. Sergino's not running. The link to our derby here comes from Majborough's sire, who is Martinborough.
We were
Shout
lucky
out
enough
to
to visit.
Capital Stud, and he is by Deep Impact. Now Deep Impact has produced an Oaks winner in Snowfall and a Derby winner in Auguste Rodin himself. Obviously a superstar horse, was third in the Arc before.
Deep Impact was, unfortunately, through jockey error, he was then demoted from that third, but you'd always like to think he was third in an Arc. And I mean, Martinborough is a bit of a freak. It's good to see because we've seen what the Japanese are doing. They are taking, and the Japanese are sending one over to Cheltenham, which is exciting. You know that's going to get huge fanship. So should Majborough win, not only is it going to be good for Martinborough as a sire, but to have the Deep Impact factor at Cheltenham, I mean, again, you're infusing the other side of the world over. And I'm with Rich, only that Sergino isn't going. Martinborough wins this.
Majborough wins it, you mean?
Majborough wins it, not his dad Martinborough. He only won one race, didn't he?
Yeah.
But we won't hold that against him.
So Majborough for the Arkle, can't see beyond him. That'd be my first pick. Next up for Dawn
is Lossiemouth, and we've heard now Brighter Days Ahead is going against Conhill. What I'll just say on that is I hope it's not the day we see a horse's heart being broken, because Conhill, he just seems to dismantle them. So I do believe that Willie is going to take the sensible route. He's going to give Lossiemouth her second mares. She's speedy, she goes, she's by Great Pretender. Her uncle is Lord Glitters. Lord Glitters, we've seen, was a globe-trotting flat king. Great Pretender goes to King's Theatre. King's Theatre goes back to Sadler's Wells. So you've got the factor there of one of the most influential Derby sires was Sadler's Wells. So you're going back to those old lines. That's where the Derby factor comes with Lossiemouth. And I also like, if Lossie doesn't turn up, even if she does, let's have a little forecast. Jade de Grugy. Now, she is by Dr. Dino, who is by Muhathar. Muhathar has some Derby lines in him, and he's also Envoy Allen's daddy. And we've seen what Envoy Allen did in the past at Cheltenham and he's the only one that's had 3 grade 1s over different disciplines. So I mean, you take that into account as well. I really like Jade de Grugy, but if Lossiemouth turns up here, she wins it.
It'll be interesting to see if King of Kingsfield does run in the champion alongside Brighter, and they both go out and do what they did at the Christmas Festival,
which I've never seen anything on the flat like that.
I've never seen anything like that.
Never mind jumps.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if they employ the same tactics and what Nico and Nikki and the Conhill Brigade will do to counter it, because it'll be a tactical battle, but a good one.
He'll just pick them off.
My second selection comes in the Queen Mother Champion Chase. I'm not going to keep you for very long. I think Majborough and Jonbon in a double is probably the play. They're quite short singles on their own. I just have seen a different side to Jonbon again this year. He's so underrated still. Obviously you've got the walk in the park Montjeu factor, if we're linking the Derby in with it. He's just an absolute superstar. People have said he doesn't like Cheltenham. Well, he has won round there before. I think he's just come up against good horses.
Good horses, but he is an incredibly good horse.
Yeah, he is, and I think he'll get his day at a festival,
and he deserves it
this year. Solness is a major danger. I just don't think he'll get up the hill. When the hill comes, going at that sort of speed, I think they'll just pick him off. And Jonbon is a classy animal, and he'll be able to, if he jumps around well, and he has looked unbelievable over his fences, especially in the Tingle Creek this year. I was just wowed when I was there. Jonbon to win the Queen Mother in a double with Majborough for the Arkle.
The only note that I would say, if you want to just add this in, Rich, whether it stays in or not, Solness, it's the speed factor that he has, and it's if they can't keep with him. I just hope if Jonbon isn't stressed, and you know the atmosphere at Cheltenham, they're going to feel it. A horse can feel a heart rate or a noise a lot quicker than we can, and I have seen him stressed there before. So if he is a little bit stressy, he's fluffing his jumps. Solness goes out the front. Interesting thing about Solness is too, he's got Japanese breeding in him also, and he's got German breeding. So you have Japanese German breeding. Very few people, and somebody might come for me and say no, they don't respect the German breeding. I do. And you have Japanese and German breeding in there. It's something to take into account as well. I do agree with you with Jonbon. I just hope he doesn't get too stressed.
No, he's not stressed this year. You've
seen him in the flesh.
Twice.
Yeah.
Seen him. He's just been a different animal. He looks
too blessed to be stressed.
He's just another year older and another year smarter, and he's a very smart horse, as we already know, and I think he's just going to be way too good for them this year. So, third up for Dawn.
I love a handicap. I love digging my teeth into a handicap. I got it right when my darling Wadu, who wins Martin Pipe, by the way, I loved her first, by Le Havre. But yeah, my teeth love getting sunk into the Fred Winter / Boodles. And last year when my darling Wadu came out, I said lark in the morning, lark in the morning, lark in the morning. That was the best handicap plot you will ever see. Again, we go back to the factor of flat breeding and everything else. The Triumph, the Fred Winter, they have a lot of flat influence in them. So I've 3 in here. My top one though is Ross O'Sullivan's. He was just touched off last year with Eagle's Reign. I think Eagle's Reign was like 80-1. I mean, he's proved nothing this year, but this season Ross has Slurricane. Now, funnily enough, Slurricane, he's by Kodiak, so you're going back to the Danehill Dancer days, you're going back to the Invincible Spirit also, so you've got all that lovely factor in there. But what I found really interesting about him is not his last win, but that he was 5th to City of Troy when City of Troy debuted at the Curragh. So yeah, fun Derby fact there. I also like Cool One in here, 25-1. His dad, Cool Company, was part of Ryan Moore's 575-1 treble at Doncaster a good few years ago. And I will do a shout out for you Safies. He was with Aidan. He has a half brother Gugulon who has won over hurdles. He's been there or thereabouts in his hurdling since he's left Aidan. He's with Dennis Hogan and he's 25-1 fun. He's by the mighty Galileo. But for me in here, it's Slurricane that comes out on top.
Yeah, I know from the trends last year that you want a flatbred horse, you want an exposed horse, so you want a horse that's run a lot of times, and these horses have. I mean, Slurricane's, seen him run twice in the flesh now already, I think, this year.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they become old friends.
They do.
They?
So yeah, Ross O'Sullivan to get a Cheltenham Festival winner.
And just, he was the bridesmaid last year, he'll be the groom this year.
There we go. My third pick is in the County Hurdle, another handicap, as we like to get stuck into them, and my selection is the Skelton trained Valgrand. Now, we don't have to go into too much detail about Mr. Dan Skelton and the way he can plot a horse well for handicaps, especially at Cheltenham, Langer Dan. And yeah, I think Valgrand looked a cut above the rest early in the season. He won at Cheltenham and he was one of the best jumpers of a hurdle I've seen in a long time. Gone off the boil a bit. Is that because they're trying to get the handicap mark down? I don't know. I'm going to take it on trust that is the case. And they've got him the amount of runs he needs. They've got him experience around Cheltenham, and hopefully they'll have him right. And he's 12-1 for the county at the moment. The 16s has gone, unfortunately. Clutching at straws a little bit with the Derby, links, but his grandsire Monson was second to a stablemate, Lando, in the German Derby,
which he should have won that day, but look,
there we go. So
stable won in the end.
Valgrand for the county for me. Fourth up for Dawn.
Fourth up for me, a nice cup of tea. Teahupoo in the stairs again, and yeah, we seen him last time. He was second to Lossiemouth, but look, second to Lossiemouth is no defeat. He's got the same plan as he had last year. He went straight from Fairyhouse to Cheltenham. I mean, people say now with the stairs it's not that exciting. you know, it's very easy to pick the winner. It's never very easy to pick a winner, full stop. And to go in cocky and say he's just going to hack up might not be the case, but I am going to stick with him. He's by Masked Marvel. Again, we are going back to Montjeu, the most influential sire, so keep that in mind. I keep saying it. Home by the Lee as well in here, 11-2. I call him, like Calixi, he's a bit of a Mad Eye Moody if you look at one of his eyes. He's by Fame and Glory. Montjeu, also Fame and Glory, they say was the most unluckiest second in the Derby, but he then went on and won his Irish Derby. So yeah, I really like him. And on his mum's side as well, he's got Presenting. Presenting was third to Lamtara here in a Derby, so there's another factor. And Nemean Line is so underestimated. We've seen him in the Champion last year. I mean, look, he's a good horse. He turns up, he shows up. Kerry has looked after him so well. He was a Frenchie originally. He was second at that Ark behind. He wasn't in the Ark, but he was second Ark weekend when it was COVID and everything was behind closed doors. We seen him win last week. He's by the mighty Golden Horn. Golden Horn won here in 2015. So for me, it's Teahupoo all the way. A little bit of Home by the Lee and a big outsider, but I have a lot of faith in the Nemean Line, all with strong Derby influences.
Okay, I can't see if Nemean Line runs, he won't be that price. Can't be. Has to be shorter. So I don't know if he's going to run. I haven't heard anything from Kerry Lee as to where he's going to go. But yeah, he's looked just a sensational horse. His win at Fontwell the other day was very impressive. I will probably go against you because I don't like it when you don't see horses for a long time. I know with Corvega it used to happen, and Teahupoo did it last year.
Album Photo.
Yeah, again, like these horses you can't really get behind. Album Photo is one of the most underrated Gold Cup winners because you never saw him, so people just don't like him, which is awful to say. Maybe it's a UK thing because we just never saw him at all apart from win a Gold Cup, and I think Teahupoo falls into that bracket. I will side with Lucky Place in the stayers. I think he's been looked over a little bit. Like Henderson isn't known for having proper stayers, but this horse has skipped the chance to go over fences and has looked like a decent staying horse this year, winning very well at Ascot earlier in the season. I think he stands a good chance at about 10-1, I think. So yeah, that would be my go, but hopefully the Derby influence for you.
Teahupoo.
I can't back an odds on shot in the stayers. Leading on from that and the Golden Horn influence, my next selection is East India Dock in the Triumph. I think he's looked absolutely superb on all three runs this season. Twice at Cheltenham, just kicking clear and looking like there wasn't a hill. I know he was unchallenged for two of those wins, but yeah, he looks a cut above them all from what I've seen so far. I don't think the Irish have got the strongest hand in the Triumph this year. Obviously, Nicky's got Lulamba and also Palladium, who is obviously has the German Derby influence himself. But East India Dock is by Golden Horn, who won here in 2015 and also won the Ark that year. I've been very impressed with him. And he's following that Burdett Road form line, same owners, the Gredleys. And yeah, let's hope he can get them a Cheltenham Festival winner.
He can do what Burdett couldn't do, unfortunately, and Burdett didn't turn up. But I mean, and on another note about Golden Horn as well, Golden Horn is having a huge influence on the national hunt. He belongs to Dashgrange stud Katie. Dashgrange stud also have Conhill's mum. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Conhill's mum has been covered by Golden Horn this year or last year. So that's exciting.
Really? Well, there you go. Maybe they'll have a little baby Conhill.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Hornhill.
Your fifth selection, Dawn.
The Ryanair, what did they call it? The Poor Man's Gold Cup, is it?
Yeah, don't let Michael O'Leary hear you say that. But yeah.
No, because I like to fly with him and I don't want to be charged for a bag. But in here, look, I don't like stating the obvious, but I'll state the obvious. He did beat Galopin Des Champs, but you know, we have our own issues with that Galopin Des Champs. And in turn, we should probably buy Factophile a gift bag, because if we were the lucky few, and it was the lucky few that got Galopin Des Champs that day when he ended up third and then he went into 4-1, that is steal of a lifetime. But yeah, I digress. When I'm talking about Galopin Des Champs, that's all I see in here. Factophile in here, he's by Politigate. Politigate is Sadler's Wells again. Sadler's Wells, the big influence. You go back to Northern Dancer too. Northern Dancer won a Kentucky Derby, so there's the Derby influence. Not alone, Factophile is an incredibly good horse. When he ran in that bumper at Cheltenham, and he was against the Dream to Share, I was asked which one did I prefer. I said straight out Factophile was going to be better than a Dream to Share. He has proven he is better than a Dream to Share. So he won last year, he'll win this year, he'll win the Ryanair. End off.
Quite bullish. I don't know why I don't really like the horse. I don't warm to him. I can't. Sometimes there are just horses like that. I don't know what it is.
Does nothing for you.
Just doesn't do anything for me. Obviously, he beat Galopin that day over what was a more suitable trip for him, which is the Ryanair. And he's going to be very short price. Is he the most likely winner? Yes. I just am really looking forward to seeing Ile Francais come over, hopefully, and kick out from the front and see if he can last. Obviously,
he's so brave.
Obviously, he couldn't last at Kempton, but over slightly shorter trip. I know you've got the undulations to deal with, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him out in front, and hopefully he can ruffle a few feathers, get them off the bridle. If they do get them off the bridle, if he does manage that and gets them off the bridle, I think you're right. Factophile will just probably outstay them all, because he does stay that little bit further. I just can't be backing him at 11-8 or something like that. It's far too short. It's far too short. It's not even. It's not. I mean, if I think an even money shot should be 3s on, I'm going to get stuck in. 11-8 shot, that to me is more like a 5-2 shot.
He gave us a gift instead, though. He
gave us the gift of
the
4-1 gift. That is very true.
So he deserves this.
That's true. Yeah. My 5th selection is in the Turner's Novice Hurdle. I'm a little bit torn because I think Final Demand was pretty impressive on the same day that Kopek Des Bordes won his Novice Hurdle at DRF. Yeah, I am a little bit torn, but the New Lion, who is by Keith Tara, who has the Sadler's Wells influence for the Derby. Keith Tara has also produced horses such as Carruthers, Thistlecrack, Edwardstone. So yeah, you've got a decent roll of honour for Cheltenham Festival winners, and I think the New Lion looks a cut above them. In terms of the UK runners, there might be something decent like Final Demand that comes over from Ireland that is maybe too good. But I know they think a lot of the horse. Obviously, JP has bought a large chunk of him after he won the Shallow, and I know Shallow winners don't have a good record at Cheltenham, but hopefully he can change that. I think he's got a lot of speed. Obviously, we don't know the ground. We're recording this like over a week out.
Which now you're going to think.
I mean, look at it now. It's absolutely beautiful.
Not soft to heavy.
Yeah. If the ground dries up a little bit and it's more on the good side than the heavy side, that'll suit him even more. And the same with East India Dock, who I mentioned before. These flat horses generally are going to like a slightly quicker surface, especially the hurdlers. So yeah, the New Lion for me in the Turner's Novice.
Final Demand for me.
And in the final race that we're picking, we have come up with the same horse.
They say like minds.
Oh look, when we agree on something,
like
terms
Dundalk.
of when we agree, like on Dundalk, we
great minds think alike.
We're very rarely wrong. So
and we leave out the foolish differ because we're far from foolish.
Exactly, and the horse comes from the Browns.
King Willie's in the Browns.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not Ballyburn.
It's not Ballyburn. It's Dancing City. I think he again is another horse that goes under the radar and is underestimated. He's 3-1 here. He's by Feel Like Dancing, who is by Galileo. Now again, you'll have the crabs about Galileos don't ever go on to be really good. They've got the speed, but they don't have the jumping factor. Well, maybe Granddaddy Galileo will get Dancing City across. I mean, he was spectacular at Aintree. I know we're talking about a different track, but he was. And you've seen him in the flesh this season. You really liked him.
Yeah,
really like him. Also in here, Croke Park, 10-1. Another one that's been disregarded this season. I mean, 28-1 win at Fairyhouse over the Winter Festival, and then he went on and won again. A super run behind Ballyburn at the RF. I know all connections were really excited after that. Walk in the park, Montjeu again. So yeah, I'm going to have Dancing City to win here, and good old Croker at 10-1 fun for each way play.
Got to remember that they don't have the 2.5 mile novice race now, so a lot of these horses, I think Ballyburn would have probably gone in that. He's obviously got to now step up to the staying trip and go against these more staying types. I think Croke Park needed that extra distance.
He does, yeah.
There we go. So we said it. I know that Gordon Elliott didn't say that. He said that was his trip, but you know, we're here to disagree with that sometimes. I know you've got to leave it to the trainers, but I like to disagree with them.
Can't be always right.
No, exactly.
I think he'd get 4 miles, to be honest.
Dancing City is a horse that I think might need the ground a little bit softer. So we're sort of hedging our bets with some of these a little bit.
I'm not.
But I know if the ground's good for a couple of mine, then they'll perform better. When the ground's worse, this is one, the Dancing City. The more rain that comes, I think, the better for him.
The only rain that I want is for Only by Night. The rest of them I know will be all right, but her, we need rain.
She needs it soft.
We need it.
Okay, so yeah, there's a couple there that will probably like the ground a bit better, a couple there that are like the ground a bit softer, but yeah, Dancing City at 3-1, anything bigger than 3-1 I think is a decent price. It's going to be a good race, and let's hope it doesn't leave there like a mark on them, because I know this, you know, when it used to be the RSA, it used to be a race that sometimes did, you know, leave a big mark on these horses, and they never really fully recovered to become out of their novice season. They didn't go on, but
Dancing City's hardy though.
Yep, he's a hardy boy. He was underrated last year when it was going off big prices for a lot of those races, and still winning them. So yeah, hopefully Dancing City can get it done for us. Any last thoughts?
I'll throw in a wild card. She's a nice price. She's 16-1. JP rang, and you know JP, he only asks once.
Yep.
I was at Garran 2 weeks ago for Red Mills, and Aqua Force obliterated them. Obliterated expensive good pointers too. It was her debut for Miguel Mann. They only have 6 horses in. It was their first winner in 28 years, and he said afterwards he thought he'd get a phone call. He got a phone call. The lady is in. Willie is now going to train her. She's 16-1. She's by Workforce. Workforce won a derby, and I just thought she was very, very, very good. And I know JP is going to be eager for another champion bump. And again, we're saying now, not that Miguel didn't train her to perfection, he really did. But when JP comes ringing and Willie's in the bumper, you can't ignore. And I mean, Aquaforce at 16-1.
Is
value.
that what price?
She's value at the moment. Yeah, value.
I know Willie's going to make up a lot of the market with the horses he's got. There's been a couple that have been pulled out because of injury. I haven't looked in depth into the bumper enough yet to have a look, but I will be spending a lot of this week doing the trends, which will probably end up disagreeing with a lot of what I've said here in this pod, but all members get the full trends pack. They'll be getting the race IQ data, they'll be getting the sim pack, they'll also be getting a flat 10 to follow as well from Foggy. He's working on that this week. So we are lucky to have welcomed a good few new members in the last week, so we intend to give them plenty of winners beyond Cheltenham. Oh yeah, it's more about it's not even the winners, it's more just providing them with value so they can almost make their own mind up as well. We'll try and give as much advice as we possibly can to hopefully get some winners at Cheltenham. And hey, look, if it's anything like last year, we had a seriously good Cheltenham, and hopefully we can have a seriously good one this year. We'll be there on the Tuesday and the Wednesday, potentially the Friday if we have a very good Tuesday and Wednesday. If we have a good Tuesday and Wednesday. But yeah, 2 days on track, a day recovering at home, and then either another day on the sofa for Galopin Des Champs. For history being made, Rich. This is going to be history, and if you can't be there, you need to put mustard and brown flags all over the house, all over the dog, all over your back garden. It's Galopin Des Champs Day. We're seeing history. Frankel gets the credit that he deserves. Galopin Des Champs deserves it. This is our Irish national treasure now. He's amazing.
It's our Black Beauty, and it's coming home. The 3rd Gold Cup is coming home.
Well, yeah, he hasn't got anything to beat now either.
Doesn't
Just
need
going to
to.
trot round and win, isn't he?
Sugar came back and was able to be jumping. He couldn't beat him.
Well, there we go. Galopin Des Champs wins the Gold Cup, and hopefully we'll have a few more winners coming for you.
Daily.
Yeah, we're going to record something while we're getting ready. Something a bit different, something a bit original.
Yeah. Dedication to the cause, because we love you so much.
I'm sure nobody is doing what we're doing. They're just not going to be, because they wouldn't. But thank you very much for watching, guys, and we will see you next week.
Montjeu you do.
Join DigiTips!